Good evening. I'm the Texas Deaconess. You know, the deacon has asked me to assist him on his Christian marriage series. This should have been easy for me, but you know, I've had some real problems with it. I'm less than 2 years from being 70 years old, and I have been married 47 of those years. My ideas, as I give them to you, will probably be very different from you 20-something ladies out there. But then there are some things that never change. When you look for a husband, some things are timeless. When in my generation, women usually married from home. And by that I mean after we finished our schooling, we lived at home until we married most of the time. It's all so different now. Let's be realistic in what we are looking for in a Christian marriage. The Bible in 2 Corinthians tells us to be equally yoked. That means many things, but the most important thing is that you are both pulling in the same direction. You know, unequally yoked can mean education, wealth, life experiences, and values. For instance, if you hold a master's degree, well, will you be okay being married to a sanitation worker? And how about if you're a clerk in the driver's license office? How much will you have in common with a husband who holds a PhD in early Mesopotamian studies? And if you're 23 and he's 51, after you discuss your day and the weather, do you have a whole lot to say? Now, I'm not going to say that those things never work, because sometimes they do. But give them a lot of thought before you pick someone that far outside of yourself. Pick a mate with a similar background about finances and work ethic. One of the most important things for you to consider to be a part of a Christian marriage is not only picking the perfect husband, but by being the best wife that you can possibly be. Examine yourself. How much of yourself are you willing to give? When two people are joined in marriage to become one, there are sometimes a few rough edges sort of hanging outside of the perfect picture. I don't mean you need to be like two peas in a pod, because if God made you exactly the same, He'd really only need one of you. You know, trying to list things in the order of importance just didn't work for me. So I will just share some of my ideas in no particular order. First, look for a man that can be your partner and your friend. Long after that extreme sexual attraction has cooled, not that it'll ever disappear, but you will still have a lot of life to live together. Pick a man capable of being the spiritual head of your home. Make sure you pick a Christian man, not because he says so, but because he acts like a Christian. Not a lip Christian, but a heart Christian. Look for a man with a stable work history. You know, odd jobs are okay when you are young or a student. Another thing, look at the way he treats his mother. Does he treat her well and with respect? Because it is a good indicator of how he will treat you. Is he kind to animals? Are animals a big part of his life? Because if they are, they're probably going to become a big part of your life also. You also want to pick a husband that's open to learning by books and by life experience. Pick someone that is visually appealing to you. And you know, we don't all find the same men attractive, or there'd only be one happy woman in the world. Be sure that you pick a man that shares your ideas about having children. If you know in the future that you want to have children, don't marry a man who says he doesn't want children and think you can change his mind. You know, no one is perfect except Jesus, but some character traits are absolute deal breakers to me. Lying is a big, big, big one. Run the other way. You want to pick a man strong enough to know that when you need a shoulder to cry on, he is the one you need. But you also want him to be strong enough to be able to share his feelings with you and cry on your shoulder when he needs to. Pick a man that puts God first, you second, and his friends and family behind you. He believes that both of you are to share household duties. You know, those old ideas where women had to do all the housework worked when women were home all day, but that's not the case anymore. Make sure that this Christian man that you pick, that you can trust his decisions about life issues. You know, I know that we have input into a marriage, the male and the female, but ultimately that hard decision comes along that your husband will take your input, but he's the one that has to make the final decision. Make sure he's the head of your household. Pick a man that talks openly of goals about money. In this day, a stable credit history is a must. If he clams up or just doesn't want to talk about finances, this might be a red flag. If you both have a large amount of debt, sit down together and know where that debt comes from. Are they student loans? Are they car payments? Accumulated credit card debt? You know, accumulated credit card debt is another one of those red flags. Make a plan that you can pay off your debts before you marry. Money issues can be the cause of many divorces. You know, the Bible talks more about how to handle your finances than it does about your salvation. So do not make debts an overwhelming problem. Pray and seek the Lord's counsel and guidance in this and all of life's issues. I thank you for letting me share my thoughts with you and my ideas. Give these words some thought. May God continue to bless and forgive America. May God continue to bless the Republic of Texas. And may God bless you and yours.